Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. So on today's episode, we're going to build this cool Snoopy airplane kit that I picked up while I was on vacation in Hillsboro, Oregon. My wife and I took a trip out to Portland, Oregon, and while we were there, I did a quick search for hobby stores, and I came across a store called Hillsboro Hobby. And they're located in kind of a suburb of Portland called Hillsboro. And so we took a trip out there, and even though we only had about 15 minutes until they closed, I made a real quick run through the store. I picked this up, but man, they have got some amazingly nice older vintage kits. So if you're ever in the area of Hillsboro, Oregon or Portland, I suggest you go check them out. Ever since a kid, I've always liked Snoopy, and I vaguely remember these from when I was a kid, and it may even have been something else. Memory gets fuzzy sometimes, but this is the one that's been repopped recently, and it's got the has a motor in there so the propeller turns, and this will just be a fun little kit to build, and probably end up giving it to my grandson. So, all right, so let me get this thing unboxed and we'll go through the kit and then we'll do the build. Okay, so on the back of the box, it's got this cool little Snoopy cartoon, vintage Snoopy cartoon there. Really cool. He's chasing the Red Baron. They also have a kit of the Red Baron. I might get one of those and do those as well. Okay, so let's get this opened up and check it out. Oh, we've got some, these are like vinyl stickers. They're not water slide. That's okay. We've got a bag of parts. We've got the motor and the connecting rod. Got some instructions. Pretty straightforward. That's nice. Alright, and then we have the bag of parts. Let's get this opened up here. So it's molded in color, and it's actually a really nice color. And I have seen other reviews on this kit, and so I was expecting it to look nice. And it really does look nice. You could definitely get away with not painting this. I am going to paint it, but that's just because I like to paint. Okay, another colored part. This is the engine cowl. Very nice. Okay, we've got the undercarriage of the plane and the landing struts. The rear wing, which has come off the sprue. This is the rudder. Okay, we have the Snoopy doghouse front. That's awesome. We got part of Snoopy here. Okay, and then we have a black sprue with the engine component, or the component for the electric motor, Snoopy's hat, the prop, the stand, the engine cowling, the guns, the wheels, Snoopy, and then the roof. So a pretty basic, straightforward kit, but I'm going to paint mine up and make it look cool and see what we end up with. All right, so I'm going to clean this up, grab some tools, and get to the build. This little electric motor is pretty cool, and it went together really easy. Okay, so I couldn't resist drilling holes in the barrels of the guns. I just had to do it. So here I used a dry brushing technique with streaking to give the propeller a more wood look. Here, I'm dry brushing on some blue gunmetal from Vallejo to bring out more detail in the engine. This was really the only problem I had with the assembly of the kit. Based on the instructions and my own trials and errors, I could just not get this rudder to snap in place. My solution was to use my rotor tool with a saw blade attachment to cut a slit in the tail of the fuselage that would make room for the tab on the tail rudder so that you could rotate it in place. And here we have the completed build of Snoopy with his Sopwith Camel. This was a really fun kit. I just really enjoyed building it and customizing it and making it my own. And I'm really glad I picked this up. And I think it just came out great. This is a really nice kit with only one minor issue that I found, but otherwise just a great overall kit. Now, just to be clear, you don't need to go to the extent that I did with the detailing and painting to build this kit. You could build this kit straight out of the box, no paint, no glue, and it'll go together just fine, and it'll look great. However, I did want to do this in my own way, and I added my own details and paintwork, and that was the biggest enjoyment for me. Building the kit was, it was a easy to put together kit with the one exception, but otherwise, most of the fun for me was painting it and making it my own. So, what did I do on this kit differently? Well, there is no bare plastic anywhere. I painted everything for starters. On the base, let's get this off here. On the base for Snoopy's doghouse, it has a wood grain in the plastic, so I painted it white, and then I did a black wash to bring out the detail of the wood grain in there. For the roof, I just painted it a different color and kind of weathered it a little bit. For the bullet holes, I painted the insides of the bullet holes black, and then I added some offshoots of black and also some lighter colors where it would give the impression that that's where the wood chipped off when the bullet went through. I realize it's just a base and no big deal, but I kind of really like the way it came out. As for the plane, I painted the entire fuselage in Tamiya's flat yellow. The cowl cover is painted in Tamiya gloss red. The propeller I did in a wood tone, and then I put a really high gloss clear over it to give it that shiny look. For the engine, I painted the engine with Vallejo's steel, and then I black washed it, and then I went over it and dry brushed it with some of Vallejo's blue gunmetal, and I just really love the way that came out. And then I went in with a copper colored Sharpie and just highlighted some more parts in there. But overall, I just really love how the engine came out. Looks really great. The propeller looks great. And of course, the little motor inside sets it spinning. That is just the coolest thing. All right. Okay, now stop. Okay. Now on the struts, I painted them kind of an earth tone up here and down here for the axle and the landing gear struts. For Snoopy, I painted his helmet in kind of an Air Force green with an earth tone goggle. He himself is done in flat white with the black highlights, and I picked out some details on his face with a black wash around his teeth and the black nose, of course. And I think he just came out looking good, and I don't know if you can see in the video, but in his goggles, I actually touched up inside the goggles with some gloss to give it that glassy look. So that's pretty much what I did to it, and I'm really happy with how it came out. So, who would I suggest build this kit? Well, I think this kit is a good kit for pretty much anyone. Whoops, pretty much anyone. Let's put him back on the base here before I make him crash and burn. We don't want to do that. So yeah, this kit is pretty much good for anybody, from experienced modeler who just wants to have fun with a kit and do his own thing with it, to a new or beginner modeler or a young modeler who doesn't have a lot of experience, or maybe it's their first model. This kit does a really good job of teaching the basics, i.e. how to read instructions, how to locate parts, how to remove them from the tree, how to snap them together, all of the basics of what it takes to build a model. So for that reason, I would say this kit is good for anyone. Okay, pros and cons. For the pros, it's a great kit. It's easy to assemble, nicely molded parts in color, easy to follow and read along instructions. The stickers were well made and easily applied, and it can be built straight out of the box, as is, or you can customize it and paint it and do whatever you want with it. Cons. There's not really many cons. This is a very basic, easy kit to build. The one issue I had was on attaching the rudder, and I went over that in the build video. I just cut a slit back here so that that tab would fit in there and you could rotate it up. Now, that was my solution to this. Others may have a different solution, or maybe some people didn't even have the problem. Maybe it was just with my kit. I don't know, but that's how I did it, and it came out great. Other than that one issue, everything else went together great. I do feel like there were a couple parts that needed some glue to really hold in place well. These struts, I put glue on the back to keep them in place, and I did glue everything together, but these struts would have easily fallen apart or fallen out if you didn't get them put together really well. But other than that, excellent kit, not many cons at all. So this will conclude my video and my full build of Snoopy with his Sopwith Camel. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel and I would really appreciate it. Also, feel free to leave me any comments or ask me questions. I try to respond to everyone as quickly as I can and I really enjoy reading them. So thanks again for watching, and as always, everyone just be safe out there and go build something.